So I've been watching The Chosen, and it's quite very interesting. The latest two episodes got me thinking. The second last episode was on Unclean, and that was Unclean Part 2, where you get to see the woman with the issue of blood touching Jesus and getting healed. At that moment when she touched Jesus, I tell you, I was literally teary, like tears were just right there. It was so emotional for me, and I'm glad my wife was not there because yeah, I really was crying because of just an episode. It was so impactful just to see the faith of the woman with the issue of blood. And yeah, well done to the Chosen team for giving us the background story so that we get to see what this lady went through and really see how desperate she was for healing. And in the later episode, the one after it, at the very end where Jesus heals these two friends, one who was blind and one who was crippled in his leg, I actually did not enjoy it. And the reason why I did not enjoy it is because the the lady was saying she's good. She's not asking to be healed, and because she thinks that Jesus, doesn't have time for her, or because Jesus can go heal others, she's okay. And it's her friend who brings her before Jesus, who says, Jesus, please heal my friend. And then we see the same thing with him. He's crippled, and he's also saying, no, Jesus, not me, you don't need to heal me, you can. And Jesus healed both of them. And for me, there was like, no, this is exactly the thing that Jesus would speak against, that, ask and it shall be given to you. This thing of having the pride in our lives to actually think that we're not desperate enough for Jesus, that we're okay with our, with our whatever is affecting us, whether something which we're dealing with, and like, Jesus, you don't need to touch me in this area of my life, I'm fine. For me, that was like, no, one needs to always be desperate enough, which is why I really enjoyed the episode of the woman with the issue of blood, because it just teaches you something about being desperate for the Lord and going after it, whereas with those two friends who got healed by Jesus, they were like, Jesus, we know you're busy, you can go heal others. And how it appeared as if they're good guys, they don't want to bother Jesus. They're good guys, they don't want to bother Jesus. But tell you what, we need to be willing to be desperate for him. I mean, the things that Jesus teaches, he teaches about the friend who comes at the middle of the night to ask for bread, the shameless audacity of asking, of begging and being desperate for something. And that's the type of faith we need to be having, wherein we know that God can do it, and we ask because we know that God can do it. Not this thing wherein, like, yeah, God, I'm comfortable with where I'm at. No. Jesus says, ask and it shall be given. But otherwise, it's a very good show. If you've not watched it, it gives you nice background of the story, where you get to see the characters. You get to see Nicodemus before he even gets to Jesus, and you really see how desperate he was to get to understand what is this Jesus about. Like, the background stories are quite interesting. I find it quite interesting just looking at Peter, where Peter is and his wife, right? The fact that Peter is away and he's left his wife alone, and just seeing the challenges that the two are experiencing. Like, those side stories are quite interesting, because it really brings life back to the disciples. They were people like you and I, and they had lives. Peter was married, and you can imagine when he's away in long missions what that would mean for his wife.